Coach Terry Steiner just returned from Finland at the University World Championships. Talk about the women's competition. We have a new University World Champion, Adeline Gray. She has now won world titles as a junior, senior, and university athlete. Your thoughts about how she wrestled and, she went up a weight class as well, and how that competition went for her.
Well, I thought it was an interesting challenge for Adeline. I mean, coming off of the Senior World Championships, coming off such a high, and to be able to travel overseas, have one day to recover from the trip, and then regroup herself, and now step on the mat as a Senior World Champion with a little bit of a target on her back. I thought it was a great challenge for her, and I thought and not only that, she moved up a weight class to 72 kilos, which was maybe easier making weight, but it definitely brings a different challenge. I thought Adeline accepted the challenge and stepped up to it very well, and obviously she won the championship. But in the finals of that competition, she had an athlete that previously beat her this summer at the Canada Cup, and I thought that she pretty much dominated that match and showed a lot of just aggressiveness and going out to basically, I guess, stake her claim as that's the reason she's the Senior World Champion and now the University World Champion, and she wanted to go out and present herself well.
Now, her first two matches were against strong wrestling countries. They may not have been their number one senior athletes, but had both Japan and China. Your thoughts about her competition in the early rounds where she got technical falls?
Well, I think that's one thing that we want to do as a country, is to get rid of that mystique with China and Japan. That we can compete with them on any mat on any given day, and I think that that's one thing that we've struggled with as a program, and I think it's one thing that Adeline has struggled with. But I think she's definitely past that point, and she knows that when she steps on the mat, she expects to win, and when she steps on the mat, it doesn't matter really who it is in front of her. She's going to go out and do her job. So it was a great competition for Adeline, and again, she's a world champ.
Let's talk about the whole team effort. She was your only medalist, and you had some pretty experienced athletes. Vicki Anthony, who had won a few university titles, some people that have had some success on our senior levels as well as age group. Talk about the overall competition and just how the U.S. team fared.
Well, again, I'm going to put some blame here on the program and how we prepared them. And we didn't have a camp before this competition. We didn't get them together and talk about some things that may come up and may occur over there. Although they're an older group, they're still pretty young as far as international wrestling is concerned. I thought that showed when we stepped on the mat over there. I mean, we definitely stepped on the mat with some hesitation. We stepped on the mat with some doubt, and really that's just from not being around those countries enough and not being on that international mat enough, and we're starting to let things creep in that really shouldn't creep in. But it did, and so it showed me that from a development standpoint, we need to do a better job with this group.
Now the quality of the tournament, it wasn't big, but you had major countries. You had people that you're going to see in the major events moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think the countries that are vying for those top spots. I mean, you have Russia, China, Japan, Kazakhstan. I mean, Mongolia. I mean, those countries are Canada. I mean, those countries are there year in, year out. They're pretty much that perennial top 5, top 6 teams, and they're there as well. And that may not be their best groups, but they're trying to develop people behind their number one people, and get some strength in their feeder system, and strength in their national teams, and so that just not the number one person can go compete. So I think everyone's kind of trying to do the same thing, and I think this competition showed that. And again, we left there with one champ, but we also left there with 6 people not Midland. So it showed that although we have we had some good performance, we have a lot of work to do as a program, and the good thing is now we have 4 years to work on it, but we got to get to work now. We have a lot of time, but we don't have time to waste, and I think that's where we're at.
What's next? I mean, we got AC, some girls going to Hargebind. Do you see some more of the women athletes competing soon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but these are competitions that we will train through. The most important aspect for us right now is learning, and we need to be getting back to skill development, strength development, and those kind of things. So that's going to be our focus, and that's going to be our focus as a program. That's going to be our focus for these individuals, and the competitions along the way are good to kind of test ourselves. But again, we're not going to be peaking for them. We're going to be training right through them and using them in that respect.
That's it. Thanks, Coach.